Hi creatives, Dimma here, and on today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you how I made this beautiful standing sleeve that you can see on the screen. Sharon Oja wore this beautiful dress with this gorgeous sleeves and is made by Vicky James. And I'm going to illustrate in this tutorial how you can make this gorgeous sleeve. If this sounds like what you've been interested in, then hit on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and then keep watching and see every bit of the process of making this gorgeous sleeve. Now I started with a basic sleeve and this is what I have right here. I will go ahead and show you the rest. This is a peplum stay. I'll be using it to structure the sleeve, and this is the lace fabric I will also be using, and that is satin fabric, doll face satin. And I have my tape, my pen, my marker pen, and my fabric. This is my pepper scissors and then my fabric scissors. Then I have my pattern master just in case I need it. So watch me and see every bit of the process of making this. I'm going to add the fullness on the cap. Watch closely, and that is the line that I'm going to take. You can see two lines there. The first one is not shaped, the second one is shaped. The length of sleeve I have here is 17 and a half, but what I need is 22. Okay, I'll make it up when I'm cutting on fabric. Just mark 1.5 inches there from the cap, and then come over here and mark here. Okay, and when I measured is 1.5 inches also from this other end. Okay, connect these 2 points like this. Now this is a sort of leg of mutton sleeve, but this one is just made to have fullness on the cap, not further. If you want it further, it can go down, but here I'm pointing. You can make it to be even fuller on the cap by drawing another line, but I don't want to do that. That's why I had to introduce just dotted lines to show you, just in case you want to add extra fullness on this cap. But I'll be using the first line that I drew to add the fullness to my very own sleeve. So watch and see how I did this. It's so simple and quite interesting. Just watch through and see every bit of what I am doing to achieve the sleeve. Right now I'm going to open this slash line. I'm not going to open the dotted one because I don't want to spread it further down. In fact, the one I opened up is enough for the fullness that I need. Now I got my lace fabric. You can see here. I've placed it on fold, and then I'll be placing the basic sleeve pattern on it. Just in case you don't know how to make your basic sleeve pattern, I'll link it in the description box so that you can look at it and know how I made this basic sleeve. Okay, so right here I'll be pinning down the lower part of the sleeve. I'm trying to measure to ensure that I get exactly the length that I want. The length I already have is 17 and a half. So you just add the extra that we need, which is about 4.5 inches, to make up 22 inches. Okay, if you want it longer, feel free to make it longer. So when I measured here, I noticed that it will not give me the chance to add the height that I want to add on the cap. So I had to bring this pattern down further. Okay, that is why I removed the pins and then pushed it down. Now 22 is the length I needed, but it's not giving me the height I want on the cap. I'm not making the sleeve for anyone, it's just for this illustration. But when you are cutting, of course, you have enough fabric to cut to the length that you want. Okay, so right now I'm going to make do with about 20 inches, and then so that I can show you the whole thing I want to show you at the cap area. Now I have spread this. You can see how I spread it, and I'm measuring now, and what I have here is about 4 inches. Okay, that is what I have, and if you measure from fold, it is about 2.75 inches. Okay, so this is what I have. I'm going to use this pattern master as a guide to get to the point that I spread this slash line to. You can see me pointing on that straight horizontal line. So from that point, I measured about 2.5 to 3 inches up. I hope you understand. You can't see what I am doing because I'm using a white chalk. I don't have a colored chalk handy. But what I did is just to measure. I measured about 2.5, about 3 inches from where this spread part got to horizontally. Okay, I mean like where I kept my pattern master, I measure from that pattern master upwards of 2.5 to 3 inches. Okay, I added it there and I am cutting every other part of the fabric like this. You can see how I smoothened the 3 inches to the spread that I had. If you understand what I mean, I believe you do. Just look at what I'm doing aside what I am saying. Okay, if you have any question, ask in the comments and I'll be there to answer and respond to every one of your questions. Okay, so right here I'm folding the satin fabric. I folded it and folded again so that I will be cutting two at the same time. Okay, so this is what I have and I will cut it out. You know, it's a sleeve I am making. So these two I'm cutting, one will serve as the lining and one as the fabric. Now this is where this satin fabric will be ending. That is where I want the inner sleeve to end. That's why I notched it. Now I am going to shape it like this. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the measurements of what I have. When I measured, I got 5 inches plus the seam allowance. So by the time I stitch everything on, it's going to land us at 4 inches. It's going to land us at 4 inches. Okay, now this is what I have. Now having done this, I'm going to fold the lace apart just as I've done and then cut out the peplon stay. This is the peplon stay. Okay, it's used to make your peplon to stand or your fleece to stand. That is what I'm using for this sleeve. I'm using it to structure or to stiffen the sleeve. Okay, so you can see how I cut it out and I'll be using my iron to gum it onto the doll face satin. Now the next step I am taking here is to use hairstay on this other part of the sleeve. Now this is hairstay that I have here and that is what I'm cutting out. When I cut it out, I'll also use my iron and stick it to this other part of the sleeve. Okay, now the one with the hairstay will serve as the fabric while the one with the peplum stay will serve as the lining. Okay, so now the next thing is to place them side by side like this. I've glued it together and I will stitch it like this. And also the main sleeve, which is the lace fabric, I'll be stitching close as well like this. Okay, now I'll go ahead and stitch it and then I'll show you what I have. Here I've stitched it and also serged it. You can see how smooth it's looking. And here I've stitched it close and I'm just notching. After notching, I'm going to push the seam allowance towards the lining part, which is the part with the peplum stay, and I will top stitch. After top stitching, I place the sleeve as well the way it's supposed to be. Ironed it down and stitched close the cap area, round the cap area. Okay, now this is how I'm going to be placing it on the sleeve and I will pin it down. I'm using my office pin to pin it down, my fabric pins to pin it down, just as you can see me do, and I'll be stitching it down to the lace. So I've stitched the lace and the small cap sleeve inside it together and this is what I got. You can see how lovely it's already looking. Just trim out every thread after each sewing and put it together like this. So this is what we have. When you form your gather, this is what it is going to look like. So I'm going to show you how you form your gather with needle and thread because the inner sleeve is quite stiff. So you have to form your gather to give you exactly what you want. Now you can see that I started the gather about 1.5 inches from where the inner sleeve started. Okay, that is the inner cap sleeve. I started the gather stitch about 1.5 inches from where it started and I came up to the cap and down to the other side till it gets to 1.5 inches to the hem of the inner cap sleeve. Okay, meaning it's 1.5 inches that I left on both sides of the inner cap sleeve. Okay, now having done this, I'm going to drag the gather. I'm going to drag it and you will see what it looks like when you gather it, and it's exactly the measurement of your armhole where you are going to attach the sleeve. You stop You can actually use your tape and measure to know when you get to the size that is comfortable or is okay for you. You stop, so you just knot it like this, just as I'm doing, so that the gather will not move. Okay, the gather is not much, as you can see, because the fullness I added is not much. Okay, so this is what I have, and I'm going to take it to the form so that you see exactly what this gorgeous sleeve looks like on a form. So this is what I have of the gather sleeve. You just go ahead and put your teardrop beads, because that's what they applied on this very one, and it's going to give you this gorgeous sleeve. Are you going to try it out? Try it out and tell me what your result is. Love you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.